So episode 7.
7, my favourite number. Just a fact for you. Just a fun.
It's a number that I
fact.
always put on the roulette.
Oh, is it?
I always do 7.
Is it red? Number 7 as well.
Yeah. So I do 3, 5, 7, 14, which are all red.
Oh right.
Red
okay.
27 and black 35.
Oh.
They're just always my numbers. I don't know why.
That's nice. You ever won big on that?
I mean, I've been in casinos when I've been on my merry little way.
Oh yeah. We're back to that saying again.
Yeah, but you know what it's like when you're in a casino and you're a bit pissed. You think, well, okay, well, you think, oh, I've just won 200 quid. Well, I can turn that 200 into 500 easy.
Yeah.
That 500 then goes back, and then
there's only one winner. It's
at
me.
3 a.m. saying, "So put another 100 quid in me back." Yeah. Anyway, this is not a gambling therapy session. This is episode 7.
With we said last time. If you made it all the way through the outro, which you should always listen right the way to the end. A Mancunian icon, legend, I believe. Clint Boon, you know,
who very, very kindly invited us into his beautiful home.
Yeah, really nice.
Really nice house.
Really cool stuff. He had a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah, lots of vinyls.
The table that we were recording on, just before. We set up the mics and that. We were setting him up on this little coffee table, and his wife said to us that that's the coffee table that his mum and dad had when he was growing up.
Younger, yeah.
That's cool, isn't it?
Everything in that house was lovely, apart from the chandelier in the room that will decapitate you if you're not careful.
Honestly, it nearly took my head off a few times, and every time we hit my head off it, Clint was going, "Oh yeah, used to be a dining room this, so like that used to be like obviously over the table and that," and I was like, "Well, just shift it now, Clint."
Yeah, we're here to record a podcast and redecorate your house. Is that all right? But no, I thought it was very nice of him to invite us into his home.
It was, man.
And his beautiful, beautiful family, and his 12 pets.
12 was it? No, I think sure there was more, wasn't there?
I think 11 or 12.
Was it? Yeah. I don't know why I've got 18 in my head. Maybe
no,
that's just wishful thinking. I love pets.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Yeah, we met his 3 lads who were all pretty cool.
Cool lads, very cool lads.
Talk a little bit about how he and his wife homeschool, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Which is just something again like we said after when we got in the car after this chat that kind of spirals off quite a lot again, this one, doesn't it?
Spirals off.
Spirals off.
I like what you did there.
It kind of spirals off,
yeah.
like a tapestry or a carpet now, and it does.
Stop.
But I like them when the podcasts do this, and they tend to do it a lot, and we don't always stick to the subject, but I prefer that.
Yeah, and this one with Clint was genuinely a heartwarming conversation.
It was.
There was, I mean, Clint's subject was one that I agree with, and we touched base on with Stephen Graham in episode
yes, we did.
3.
3, yeah.
And so Clint's subject was reality TV, which again is something that I relate to, and I'll say it again because I don't want to offend anybody, and it's the genuine truth. Like I've not got anything against the people. You know, I've got friends who have been through the X Factor system, and I know people from all those sorts of things. And you know, Clint didn't have a bad word to say about anybody, and he completely went into depth about why he feels that his subject was overrated, and he pulled out his book and he made notes.
He had notes, didn't he? Yeah, completely didn't.
I mean, me and you turned up with no notes.
No. I think we.
But he's an old man. He's nearly 60. He said so.
All right.
Maybe he needs to jot his notes down.
Exactly what Tommo was just saying there. You'll notice in this conversation that although Clint brought this subject up and does feel strongly that it's very overrated, just, because he's such a lovely bloke, he still really couldn't give it a bad word, could he?
No. I genuinely don't think he's got a bad word to say about anyone or anything.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. We've had guests on the show before. I'm sure you've heard where they get very passionate about the subject.
John McClure.
And hate it. Stephen, Georgia, like a few of the episodes that we've had, Tim last week, a few of the episodes that we've had, people are very passionate and whatnot, and really like, no, you know what, fuck it, I don't like that. But Clint just Yeah, I don't think he'd have a bad word.
No,
It's just such a nice bloke.
It was it was a heartwarming conversation, and again, like we said, we went off subject, and we spoke a lot about the education system, and we spoke a lot about what we feel is important for kids growing up, and
he had some cool stories about him and obviously the band and that back in the day, which was great. And again, you know, I think in this podcast while we were recording it, we always have these as open chats. It's always me, you, and the guest, and we're chatting. I think this is probably the quietest we are. I reckon. I realised that while listening.
He was a good guy to sit back and listen to.
That's what I mean. He's such a storyteller, man, and obviously that comes through in the music.
When we first got there, we sat when we were setting up, and he said, "Oh, normally in interviews," and I was like, I said to him, I said, "Mate, I said this is not an interview." I said, take the microphones away, put a pint of beer in front of you, and we're just chatting. That's all we're doing, is we're just having a chat, which is, again, as you all know, how me and Andy came up with the idea of the podcast. And again, you guys have been complimenting us on social media, saying it's just a friendly chat, which is
thank you for that as well, guys. Yeah.
Some of the reception's been brilliant. So, yeah, I mean, this for me was up there with my favourites. I know we're very early on, and they're all
definitely
been my favourites, but this was a lovely chat.
100%. I think out of the 7 chats that we've had, this is definitely up there. And notice we are making a very conscious effort to call them chats, because as Tommo just said, they are. Out of all the 7 chats that we've had, like, this was one of my favourites, not just because it's Clint, and I'm a big fan of his stuff from back in the day, and the work that he continues to do on XS Manchester, and his DJ sets at South in Manchester and various other places. Kendall Calling as well, which we often frequent each year.
And it was nice that he takes an interest in what we do as well.
Yeah,
he's a big fan of This Is England.
He was asking us about Kendall Calling pre getting the mics out, wasn't it? Because I think we missed him this year because we were on before him, and I thought he was going to come straight on after us, but there was someone else after us, and then we were drunk, weren't we? So we kind of retired to the tent.
I think we went to that really dingy rave tent before we went.
Yes, I think we did.
And then we went to a silent disco.
We went to a silent disco.
First ever silent disco.
If you've never been to Kendall Calling, guys,
yeah.
I mean, if there's any episode to talk about Kendall Calling, I'm sure they've got the pre-sales on now. Get there, man, if you can.
They haven't said anything to us about this. This is a genuine
bottom of our heart.
Like me and Andy have been every year for the last couple of years, not asked for a penny for DJing. All that we ask is just for a couple of tickets for our wives and a couple of our friends, and we just have like the best weekend ever.
It is so good,
and hopefully we can. I know Craig Parkinson, who does the Two Shot podcast. He did one with you, didn't he?
Yeah, I did
a live one. Hopefully we can maybe do something.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool.
Do something pretty
Tweet
cool.
them, guys. Maybe try and get that going.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So Clint does take an interest in us and what we've done and stuff.
Such a professional.
Yeah, man, and he's so there's a really nice bit in the podcast, which we'll probably use as the clip, so you've probably seen it on Instagram, where just out of nowhere Clint just forgets the interview, gets his camera out and just starts taking a picture of Tommo, and it's because Tommo sat in front of a picture which is above Clint's
the main centerpiece of his room.
Yeah, and it's a big picture of Tony Wilson. I think he's outside the Hacienda, and it's just dead nice that he's like, bloody hell, yeah, let me get a picture of you there, mate, in front of that.
Yeah, and he's such a cool dude, man.
He's so cool, man.
I mean, I love my dad to bits, and I wouldn't change him. But I mean, Clint Boon would be a pretty cool dad.
He would be a cool dad, and them 3 lads, like they all look pretty cool, and you can tell just when he talks about them a bit that like he's got such pride in him, like
passion,
my oldest is really good. He's mint on bass, like. He puts a lot of people to shame.
Yeah, even all the professionals, he said, didn't he?
Yeah. And when he came in afterwards, we met his older one, and he did look like a proper cool kid, didn't he?
Yeah, just laid back.
He was like, "You alright, mate?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm alright."
But it was good. It was a good chat, and I mean, I can say it like a cliche, but I just hope you enjoy it as much as we are, and like genuinely enjoying doing it. And I mean, I'm loving seeing you without 15 pints of ale on board.
I am loving that as well, and so is my liver.
Yeah,
My liver thanks you, Thomas. And it thanks everyone who listens to the podcast and continues to support me and Tommo doing stuff that doesn't involve us getting drunk.
Yeah, basically, if you subscribe, share, follow, you're basically saving our lives.
You basically are. I mean,
my relationship's never been stronger.
Yeah, I mean, you're closing down pubs across the nation, but, you know, you're helping us out.
Yeah, but you'll always have Overrated Everything.
You will always have Overrated Everything on your Monday morning commute, or whenever you choose to listen to us during the week.
And yeah, without further ado, we'll stop boring everyone and give the people what they want, which is why they've clicked on it.
Yeah.
Episode 7, Clint Boon. Enjoy.
Phone's on silent.
Now, yeah, phone's on silent, guys. We're recording.
I'll tell you a funny thing about phones on silent.
Oh, go on.
I went to a funeral a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
My Uncle Joe, he was like 75, something like that. And as I was walking into the creme, got my phone out, put it on silent, so you see the red switch on the side of the iPhone.
Yeah.
Put it back in my pocket, got into the church, said hello to everybody, sat down, and then it was a woman vicar. And she says, before we start, can you all make sure your phones are off? So I got my phone out again, had a look, red switch sorted. And she said, if anybody's phones go off, they're going to do 10 press-ups at the front of the altar. So everybody had a giggle like that. So I got my phone out again, checked it again, definitely on silent. I even put the volume down like that.
Yeah,
like
double checking.
So put it in my jacket pocket. Sermon starts, you know, quite emotional, like they are at the beginning especially. Suddenly my phone goes off and it was Stellify, Ian Brown, full volume on the XS Manchester app. It just right at the start of this fucking...
So the app had opened.
The app had opened.
Because that does the silent doesn't stop that, does it?
Like that, and I pull it out and it's all slow motion. No.
Oh my God.
It was like a fucking dream. It was a bad dream. My mum's at the side of me crying because, you know, it's... And I'm like, sorry.
I've got a funny one. Oh, sorry, go on, mate.
Great
I think isn't Stellify about becoming a star?
I think it is. Yeah. There you go.
Quite appropriate. But I was being all philosophical in my head, thinking everybody hates me.
Yeah, I remember I went to... So I'm getting married at the end of the year, and we're getting married in a church. So we're having to attend services, and I think this is our 3rd service. And I'd been out with the lads the night before on a Saturday night, and you know what it's like when it gets a bit out of hand. It's like, yeah, all right, but you say you're going for 1 pint.
Yeah.
Come whatever time, I strolls in. Didn't really get much sleep. Sort of turned up to the church in the morning on Sunday morning, and the first thing that Pam said to me, the vicar, she said, "Oh, so Thomas, would you mind just coming up to the front and just doing a reading from the Bible to everybody?" And I was sat there, I was like, "Oh, Pam, no." I've not had much sleep. I could literally feel like God ripping the sins out of me.
Oh my God.
So yeah, that's my funny experience at church recently.
Brilliant.
Give us you
I don't really go to them
church,
places. No, not really.
Yeah.
Are you not a religious kind of man?
No, not at all.
I'm not actually, but I'll go for funerals and weddings.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
we only go. I mean, I don't know. I quite enjoy it on a Sunday morning.
I thought you were going to say I quite enjoy a funeral then. I
don't like funerals, not a fan.
Somebody once said to me, and I can't remember who it was, it might have been Peter Hook, because he goes to a lot of funerals, that bugger, I tell you, Peter.
Right.
And one of them, it might not have been Hooky, but he said, "Oh, I do like a good funeral."
Do you know what? The thing is because I think I'm like half Irish, and like when we have funerals, we have wakes.
Yeah, it's a party, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big party. Like my gran, she died a couple of years back, and it was like, right, okay, well she used to love a Guinness and she used to love a Baileys, and we went back to my local for the wake, and about 2 hours in, they'd run out of Guinness and Baileys. We went for it. Like I quite like.
Well, my funeral, I want a party. I don't want people to be.
Yeah.
Crying.
No.
You know, shed a tear, shed that I was loved, but then I want everyone back at my local at the Parity, and I want everyone arseholed.
Is that your local?
But a pub called the Parity. Saying that, I don't really go in there much anymore, but I used to go in there all the time.
Right.
I want you know, like you get songs and that. I want to choose my songs, songs to make people laugh.
Yeah, because otherwise some of them will pick all the wrong tunes.
Yeah.
He'd love this one. He would have loved this one.
Should
we start?
We're starting. I mean, that's all going in. But just for anyone listening, we're here in sunny Stockport with a Mancunian legend. I hope you don't mind me saying that. You are, sir. Mr. Clint Boon. Thanks for having us round, mate.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Thanks.
Absolute pleasure.
Invited us round to his lovely house, and his lovely missus has made us a nice cup of tea.
It is a nice cup of tea.
And it's just been. How many pets have you got? Did you say?
I think we're on 11 now. It's
11
like
pets.
Is that including things like there's goldfish behind you?
2
and stuff
fish
like
behind us. We've got a lizard over there called Manny Rango.
3 children.
3 kids. Timmy, we've got a beautiful hamster. He's asleep because he's nocturnal, because he's an hamster. He's in there asleep. He might come out and visit us in a bit. And then in the garden we've got 2 guinea pigs, Jack and Mikey, 2 massive giant rabbits, Caramel and Snowflake, and 2 little bunnies, Hugo and Uno.
So do you know when you're shouting them?
Called Dolly.
Do you know when you're naming your animals? I always remember my mum. Say if I'd done something wrong, she'd go, Carl, Jamie, Matthew, Thomas.
Oh yeah, I do
she'd
that.
get my name wrong all the time. So she's like calling your guinea pig Snowflake, and then you.
It's not with the animals.
you
It's
fish
the kids.
Charlie and
that happens with me with the kids because we've got 3 boys. We've got Oscar, Hector, and Cassius. And a lot of the time, if I'm calling them, I will use all 3 names.
Yeah, my mum used to file for all the kids' names before.
I wonder what that is, because I wonder what that is.
It's the rage.
Because it's not an age thing. Because I do it, and like saying, like I know, like my wife's dad does it, and he's quite a bit older, so I wonder what it is.
There's probably a name for it, and I bet a psychologist would probably have it.
He's screaming at his phone now.
Yeah. Maybe it's some, evolutionary way you need to protect all of them, but one of them's in a line of danger or whatever because you're shouting the name, but you instinctively try and gather them all. I don't know.
I think what it is, I think it's that instinct is that in that microsecond you've got to say something and get the attention of the child before you've had a chance to think what the child's called.
Yeah.
So
your mind working quicker than your mouth.
It's part of your mind. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, part of your mind working quicker than the other part of your mind, but certainly a lot.
These podcasts rapidly become like therapy sessions.
They do, man. They do. It's nice though.
Yeah,
I was telling you before that I did story time with Boon through 2016. I did 28 or 29 episodes.
Yeah.
And that was just me talking about my past. It was my autobiography pretty much, and I found it so therapeutic because you'd be thinking, like when you're getting the stories ready, you'd be thinking, what year is that then? And you do a bit of research and you'd be like there's a story about Depeche Mode came singing in Spirals in New York when we were like a rising British band over there playing to like, I don't know, 800 or 900 people in this little club in New York. And Depeche Mode were on our record label. They were the big ones on Mute. We were like, on that label for a few years. They came to see us in New York.
Yeah.
And when they walked in the room, we were playing, our crowd were going mad. And you could tell when Depeche Mode walked in because all the crowd suddenly turned with the backs to the stage because there was no band bigger in the world than Depeche Mode at that point.
Yeah, mate, well...
So everybody in the room, we were at the peak of our set and we're playing to 800 people with the backs to us because Depeche was stood at the back of the room and all the Americans wanted to look at Depeche. So I was telling this story and I thought, I must see when that is, what day it was. And I went online and found it. And it was their night off on the American tour. They had a night off. They played New York, and I think they were going to Toronto the next night. And on the night off, they came to see the Spiral Carpet.
That's amazing.
So what I'm saying is, like, I was from memory. I've told this story before, but when I went on that wonderful thing called the internet, you get the actual date. You know what I mean?
It's good, isn't it? Like remembering all the amazing things that's happened in your life, like things like that. It's sort of things that you'll never forget. And I love being
pinch
taken
yourself
back.
moments. Isn't it?
Yeah, being taken back to all the good things that's happened in your life.
You know what I like about these podcasts as well is that. I think one of the reasons I love doing mine, and I don't even thought about it yet, but 1,000 years from now, people will be sat listening to this.
Yeah, not even far like.
It's going to be there forever.
Forever.
As long as there's people on the planet, these podcasts are like these are the new archives for people.
Yeah, that's
generations to come.
There was a brilliant quote from Noel, I think it was either Noel or Lee, one of the Oasis, in Supersonic, the film, where they said, like, we might die, but our records are going to be on them shelves.
Oh, yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
People are going to be listening to our music forever.
As a recording artist, that was always one of my biggest motivations, my biggest reasons for doing it was immortality.
That's one of my biggest reasons for acting. The same, going back to what we were saying earlier, like I'm an atheist, so I don't really believe in an afterlife and stuff. So,
but your kids are going to watch.
This is England and other stuff that I've done will be
there forever.
Will be watched forever.
And at some point, hundreds of years from now, Gadget might be someone's favourite character of all time.
And that's mental.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Crazy,
so
it's he's already my favourite. I've told you this before.
Cheers, mate.
Like I love your character, but again, we're not here to talk about us. But so your subject is one for me. When Andy told me that this was your subject,
jump for joy,
I was fucking buzzing because I was like. Well, I've said that if we was to do each other on, if we was to to have each other as guests on the podcast, my subject would be overrated is reality TV.
Yeah,
which is what you've said.
Yeah.
So talk to us a bit about why you think.
As a genre, I'm not against all of it, and some of the stuff that I absolutely don't subscribe to in terms of reality television is that massive that there's obviously a mass market for it.
Huge.
So I'm not going to stand here and say, that Essex is shit or whatever.
I used to live there. It's all right.
I mean,
it's not that great.
But there are some of them just seem so mind-numbingly a waste of time.
Yeah.
And I'm not on about the people in them. I'm on about as a concept.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit and watch, somebody
sat in a villa.
Sat on a
Spain.
beach, fancying somebody, and then falling out with them, and then slugging the other one.
And it's amazing the way that they speak to each other is genuinely like they say it like you're in school. I remember once I watched 1 year of Love Island with my missus, and what they was all saying to each other was, when they fancied each other, it was like, I just want to get to know you. Just want to get to know you.
Yeah,
that's the kind of thing that you'd say to someone.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you can tell that the producers have said that, and it's all so fake.
Yeah.
And when you've got people writing on Facebook like, I can't believe what Leanne's just said to Colin, and it's like, you do realise it's all fake. And again, like you said, it's no disrespect to the people that are on there. I've met a couple of people who have been on Love Island or Made in Chelsea and all them. And they're all really, really good people, and they've been given something, and they've grabbed it with two hands, and they've made a living from it, and all credit to them.
Yeah.
But just the way that it is perceived, it just frustrates me.
I think my issues are, my kids, I'd encourage them as much as I could to say, rather than going down that route of being, the star of a reality TV show where you're just existing and do the music thing, you know what I mean? Invest in something a bit more substantial. Because to me, it's like, I have this big thing in me, I visualise it. It probably happens every day at some point where I just see a clock going.
Yeah.
Of your life, Jimmy.
And that's my life going past.
Yeah.
And whenever I've sat and watched any shit telly, really, not just some of these reality shows, it does feel like I'm just getting closer to death with every second of what they're doing. And one of the other issues is with something like, is it called Love Island, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I've never watched it. I don't really intend to watch it. 10 out of 10 for others doing it and enjoying it, making money, entertaining a lot of people. But you can't escape it, can you? Because when I'm reading the news headlines now, there's people in there that are like, Love Island, such a body, this, that and the other. Yeah. And didn't want to Love Island commit suicide recently, I think?
Yeah, I think that was
tragic. The 1 year that I did watch it was it a girl called Vicky?
I'm not too sure.
It was a girl from Newcastle.
Tragic, but it's...
And again, is that I don't know...
the pressures of the show.
Yeah, I don't know whether that was it or whatnot, because obviously
when Big Brother started... Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah,
when Big Brother started 20 odd years ago, I remember then thinking, this is exactly the kind of thing that's going to drive people to suicide.
Yeah, it's very... because I don't know about you, but I imagine, it's the same, and I know you, like, I don't do what I do to be famous. I don't do what I do to be in the public eye. I was born I was born with this. I always call it to my missus, it's like a curse. Like, I love acting, and I'm happy when I'm being creative. And I guess it's the same for you with music, when you're making music, or you're doing your radio shows and that. It's a creative outlet, and it genuinely gives you a source of happiness. The creativity. I always say creativeness. The creativity gives you a source of happiness.
Absolutely.
And the fame is a byproduct of that.
It's a side effect of it. Yeah,
it is.
Where with these guys, it seems a lot like that. They want that byproduct, and they might be talented, and I'm sure they're talented. And with things like Love Island, there are, there's beautiful people who go on there who probably. Look after their bodies in ways I can't imagine, and things like that, they do put a lot of time and effort, I guess, in looking a certain way and going up, but like to me, a lot of the time are just reaching out for that fame and that notoriety.
without the journey. So you get your celebrities, whether it's a sportsman, a musician, an actor, whatever.
The key word is what you just said there, celebrity.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between someone being, in a band or an actor. Like, we're not celebrities. I don't think we don't thrive off being a celebrity. We thrive off doing what we love doing. Do you know what I mean?
And we've sort of accidentally become well known for our things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think because like if you walk through Manchester now, Thomas, and you get recognised for any of your parts you ever played, and you might get mobbed by 20 people that want selfies with you. And, you're going to handle that in a way because it happens in your day to day these days. But if you're just 1 minute you Mr. Nobody, you go on Big Brother and suddenly
everyone's
that
nation's talking about it. It's hard to handle overnight.
And that fame is you don't just get like we could walk through Stockport or we could walk through Manchester, and people might look and you get that double look where they go, like we might just get that, whereas someone from Love Island, like that amount of fame, overnight it's. I mean, I've when I've been out on the booze or whatever, you've been in a pub, and it can get a bit like, so people are staring over, and it's like it's hard to get engaged in a conversation with someone when you know that there's people talking about you in the pub. Yeah. So imagine having everybody in that pub talking about you.
Yeah. Like
it can drive anyone insane.
Like Clint said, like it is literally overnight as well with some of these people. Like they go. They're not very well known, a lot of them, or some of them have great, especially like if we're saying Love Island and that. They have like Instagram and followers and stuff, but they literally go from nobody knowing who they are to an island in Spain for 2 or 3 weeks, however long it's on. And as soon as they touch back down, they are like they're like rock stars overnight, aren't they? To a lot of people, because it's that audience is huge. Like with stuff like Love Island, like as I was saying earlier on before we started recording, like. I never watched it, I never bought into any of that, and my missus loves it. She loves The Only Way is Essex, all that stuff, and that's fair enough, that's her escapism. She does a job that I couldn't do, and to escape, that's what she does, that's fine. But I sat and watched a series of Love Island with her, I thought, I'll give it a go, and I fell into that trap, man, and I don't know why.
You can't put into words what but I said escape to you, we talked about this earlier before we put the mics on, I said is it some sort of escapism for people?
It must be, right? I guess, I don't know.
We've started going to the cinema down the road. We watch a lot of films at home. We have Netflix on, or Amazon Films, whatever. And we started going to the Light in Stockport, this new cinema. It's fucking brilliant. And we walk down there, and what I love about it, no matter what the film is I'm watching, you just totally escaped from the world on the other side of the cinema walls, which you don't get at home, because if I'm sat watching telly at home, I can still see these curtains have got ripping them and they need mending, and bloody rabbits need feeding, and you know what I mean. So you're not totally escape when you're sat at home, but when you're in a cinema, and that escapism, it's a great feeling, isn't it? You could, for 2 hours, you just you're in your
It's one of it's one of the obviously cinema and film and stuff's quite relatively a new art form, but that escapism goes back to someone looking at an amazing painting or so it's something that's so deep within the human kind of psyche that we need it, and
now it's 2 people laid on a beach in Spain that gives people
which is crazy. I mean,
I find it phenomenal that it's lasted so long, because even 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I was thinking this reality TV is going to end now, it's going to stop.
It seems like it's getting bigger and big, because I remember Big Brother coming out. The first sort of series of Big Brother, I reckon I was probably about 10, 11, and I remember it coming out, and I remember watching it, and I dabble in Big Brother every now and again, because I do find, what I find interesting about that is I'm quite interested in like sort of like psychology and stuff like that, so I like 10, 15 strangers, however many they have in a house, how will this go on? They've never met each other, how will this go on? But to get, like, it's been on for like nearly 20 years, I think.
And it's not going away yet, is it?
It's the same thing every year. It's not a psychology project now.
It's Channel 5 have got rid of now.
I think it's moving to somewhere else, though. I think because Channel 4 got rid of it, didn't they?
It's too big for a channel not to buy.
Even if it gets nowadays, because TV itself, sort of viewership, like, is hard to come by, right? Yeah. And people like yourself, like, say, I'm the same, Netflix, Amazon, Sky, what's recorded, even if it pulls in a couple of 100,000 viewers, it's still kind of biggish numbers, I think.
I've never understood the ones like what you just said. These people will go in there and they might have talent, but they're going onto a show where you don't need to show any talent. Yeah. I mean, on Love Island, I'm talented in pulling birds, or I'm talented at doing my comb over. Yeah. But like if you watch like X Factor, I know they can ruin it a bit, but I don't mind watching X Factor and stuff, because there's people going on there with talent. There's people playing their guitars. There's a girl on there who I haven't watched it for a bit, but I caught one episode of it. And there's a young girl on there. I couldn't tell you her name, but she's with a piano, and she's amazing. Her voice is brilliant, and like you can watch that, and it does bring a smile to your face, because you're watching reality TV, but they are expressing their talent.
See that? Because I was going to ask. Sorry, Clint. I was going to ask you this earlier on, because you touched on it. You were saying about like with your children and that, like, you wouldn't necessarily want them to watch this. You want to push them into something more sort of musically and stuff. But is that would X Factor be on the telly on a Saturday night in the Boon household or
never?
No,
and not because we say you're not watching it. It's just my kids don't want to watch it. They are.
Not
I mentioned before they're into music. My 14-year-old is an amazing bass player, like better than some of the professional bass players that I know. My 11-year-old's just started playing keyboards, just having lessons. 8-year-old Cassius is a beatboxer and dancer, and he's just when the others start the band, he'll just be at the front of it, I'm sure. But so we don't have X Factor on.
No.
We have good music on, whether it's XS Manchester or Six Music or BBC Radio 2, or records over here. I'm playing. I've got my vinyl set up, so there's always good music on. So my kids don't get to hear rank music. You know what I mean? They hear good music. In fact, I tell you what's funny. My little one, Cass, was on the bed before with a dog on his name. We've got a little dog called Dolly that you met.
Yeah, she's got.
And he's there and he's going, baby, 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 and he's laughing. I'm like, where have you heard that song? He said, it's Justin Bieber, he says. And I said, do you like it? He says, nah. I said, why do you not like it? And he says, Hector, he hears Hector singing, it's a dog in a bit of a take the piss way. But they associate that record. We've never said Justin Bieber is, the Antichrist, because I don't believe he is. I believe he's a great artist, he's a great performer.
Yeah.
I've got nothing against him.
I've seen him.
You're a fan, aren't you? Yeah.
I'm not a fan, but I mean, go on, sorry.
No, I'm just saying that the kids have, through their own thought process, have come to the conclusion that Bieber's not right.
Yeah.
But the Chili Peppers are, and Oasis are, and Stone Roses are cool.
Yeah. And I suppose, and obviously with you doing what you do from a young age, it's good for them to grow up and be into like instruments and things like that. And then, like you said, if they do form their own band, then that's brilliant.
Yeah. Music's so important for kids, isn't it? Because I remember I grew up. My dad literally listens to just 80s music. That's his thing. He loves like cheesy 80s music.
Right.
And I could never get into that. And then all of a sudden, when I was about 11, 12, I just fell in love with like hip hop. And I was like, where's this come from? But like, I grew up sort of at my grand's listening to stuff like Northern Soul and reggae and stuff like that. So I've always been kind of grown up with that massive influence of music, and obviously hip hop kind of stems from a lot of that, especially the kind of stuff I enjoy. And then obviously getting into like yourselves and the Roses and stuff like that. Like, music's so important for just finding yourself, finding who you are as a person.
Amazing,
for people of our social sort of circle, if you like, it's essential, isn't it? And I do meet people that, like you said about your dad, he's stuck in that 80s, but that's him. He stopped searching for new music. That 80s stuff gives him the stimulation he wants and the memories.
Yeah.
It triggers all that stuff, doesn't it? I'm still searching for new stuff all the time, but I've got my, my memories are all here behind me in my record collection here, and I can tap into that any moment I want and listen to Love Grows by Edison Lighthouse, which still gives me goosebumps. A big pop tune, big cheesy pop tune from 1969. But equally, I've got the Blinders debut album which I'm excited about. So I'm still on that journey, and I'll meet people sometimes. A lot of taxi drivers, and it'll come up in conversation. I'm one of the inspirals. That was great times. That was. Music now is shit compared to how Manchester was, and it's not. It's as good as it was.
It's what you're choosing to listen to.
Yeah, and you stop
being made.
You stop looking. So a lot of people stop looking for that new music, which is fine. But the current Manchester music scene, it's on fire again.
It's literally sparking. I've just been playing you an artist that we're going to have on the show soon. Shotty Horror.
Brilliant.
If you've heard of him, he's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant band called the Sherlocks that are going.
Yeah, the Sherlocks. They record
Sheffield. There's so many good bands there. And like you say, solo artists who are just incredible.
Yeah.
But like you said, the taxi driver, like he's just stopped searching for new music. Do you know what I mean? It's because he'll be in his car and he'll have Radio 1 on and Dua Lipa will be playing, and then it'll be all these sort of corny pop artists that are making a living, they're doing what they're doing, and good on them. But people who want real music, they refuse to look any further than what's already been made. Do you know what I mean?
It's still out there if you search. Going back to the X Factor and the reality TV thing, I don't mind those reality TV shows that have got an element of skill and competition. So, Dancing on Ice, Bake Off, MasterChef, X Factor, Britain's Got Talent. There's an element of
there's
people striving to achieve something great, and And we all like a competition, going back to It's a Knockout or the Generation Game, or it's always that's always been good TV, hasn't it?
What I think as well though with stuff like, maybe not, I've never watched Bake Off or anything like that, or like The Apprentice stuff, but X Factor is held as a competition. What I've always found with it though is a lot of people watch it to watch a lot of people give up when it comes to live shows. They only watch the interviews, the auditions, because they know that there's going to be a really, really crap guy who can't sing. And I can't help but feel massively sorry for them people. There's nothing worse than, them people genuinely think they can sing and fair play to them. And the purpose, and I think that stems back.
Has been.
I think that stems back though again to, almost gladiatorial days, almost the Romans like feeding people to lions, and it is Simon Cowell, Mel B, whoever hosts it now, judges it now, they're the lions. They're sat there judging you, and I think there's something within. I think that's why reality TV does so well. I think there's something within the human spirit that likes to see things go wrong. Love Island, you're watching it and you're thinking, I hope they have an argument. I hope he goes on in tonight.
I don't know how people like Channel 4 do this thing. Have you seen The Undateables?
Yeah. See, we used to watch that.
That's mind blowing. Like I don't know how, like people. There's viral videos that go around of these people who obviously have got learning difficulties or whatever, and they're being made fun of.
I think the show itself doesn't set up to do that, but I think there's certain elements of the audience who take it that way. And it's such a horrible shame. But it's again, people want to see laugh at the people.
See, what do you call them? Silent snipers.
Spirit snipers.
Snipers.
That's Rich Ashcroft used that phrase recently. But see, we watched Undateables, and I can honestly say, hand on heart, I was always watching it on their side. Come on. Yes, you know what I mean? Not like look at that.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It was always the other. And me and my wife do like a giggle. We've got a very peculiar sense of humour at times.
Of course, people have, yeah.
You have, especially with your partner in life like that. But watching Undateables was always, and I'd always end up fucking crying at the end with happiness or sadness one way or another.
It's such a beautiful show when the audience is taking it. How I hope Channel 4?
Channel 4.
Have put it out there to be made. But yeah, like you say, there is them sort of spirits.
You get the knobheads on Facebook who are writing comments and putting things over the top of it and making videos go viral. And it's disgusting, really, isn't it? But then again, it's people getting pleasure from other people's misfortunes.
Yeah, and I like that what you said about it. It's a primal thing, and it's like people used to love going out watching somebody get hung, didn't they?
Yeah,
not that long ago, really. 100 years ago.
Well, it's like if over the road here, if you saw a police van turn up, you'd be out your window, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, I'd be behind curtains.
Do you know what I mean? You'd be like, okay, see what's going on there. You might love your neighbours over the road, but there's something just in you that just makes you kind of twitch at your curtains, like, oh, I wonder what they've done. Oh, they're getting in trouble. And it's a sad reality, really, I think. And I think that's why I do. That's my take on it. I think that's why reality TV does so well, because even when I was watching Love Island with my missus, I'm watching it and I am genuinely thinking, like, there's nice bits. There's like, them two are becoming a couple. I think Danny Dyer's daughter became a couple early on, and it's nice to see this love story unfold.
Two of them have recently just got married.
Oh, really?
From
this series?
2 series ago.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
And I only know that because one of my friends is friends with him and went to
right. So I mean, that's nice. Like, that's nice. Like, you're seeing a love story.
But, like, OK Magazine are all over it.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
on the front of every magazine, and they made a TV show out of it. And,
what was the famous one was from Jungle, weren't they? Peter Andre and Katie Price. Like, I remember watching that. I must have been about 12.
Stream the wedding online.
And they fell in. Like, I remember watching that, and it was like watching. It was watching love. I mean, it was the rawest form, I guess, of watching love. Shakespeare's wrote Romeo and Juliet and tried to portray that and done it well, and countless rom-coms and beautiful movies made out and stuff. But does watching it unfold in reality make it better? Obviously, since then, like you say, then they cashed in on it, kind of thing, which was
and people do. Sorry, go on.
There's two things. One is what the public don't always see.
Yeah, of course.
Is they might see the man and woman falling in love, or the kid singing a great song, but behind the scenes, what the public don't see is the hundreds of thousands of pounds that are being made
Exactly.
by people, you know, the OK Magazine, Hello Magazine, Simon Cowell's companies. So that's probably part of what pisses me off about the whole thing.
Yeah. People getting rich off other people's misfortune.
Well, not even. It's like the whole essence of it, like Big Brother, for example. It's not to entertain us by watching people in a psychological experiment. It's somebody making fucking millions of pounds behind all that.
It's all a business.
And you don't always get to see that, do you, as the man in the street?
But then again, you know, you've made some absolutely amazing, beautiful music and songs that you say will be listened to for as long as there'll be humans. But there's somebody at that record label, again, that's not that arsed about the music and is probably there for the wedge. Whoever's at the top is like, probably, great band. But
with a band like In Spirals, it's not the case. We are, with Mute Records, still 50-50 split, whatever.
Yeah.
So we're on a great deal because we were from that very indie do-it-yourself sort of.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the big pop acts again, you know, I was reading today about the, what they call the K-pop sensation.
It's gone huge, hasn't it, K-pop?
Yeah, BTS
apparently.
or something, or BHS, or, I don't know what it's called.
What's K-pop?
Korean pop music.
I know what you mean.
K-pop.
I know what you mean,
Somebody said to me, have you heard of this K-pop, Clint?
And
I said, no, but have you got any? I thought it was drugs. That's what you do with ketamine, so that sounds alright. But I was reading about these. I think it's like a 7-piece teen band from Korea.
Yeah.
And they're called BTS, BHS, I don't know, they're called something like that. But I'm looking at the pictures of them, and it's like, you can tell there's a lot of money behind it. Yeah. Every picture's completely styled.
Well, they're literally moulded into whatever their record.
Yeah. And I was thinking they're probably not getting a lot of money, the kids in the band.
Yeah.
They'll probably not be getting, they'll be getting a couple £100 a week each of it.
Yeah.
And the big money will be going somewhere else.
It's amazing how their lifestyles, like, we were touching on a Justin Bieber thing. I've got a massive interest in his life, like, because I've been to this. I went and I've seen all his films that have made about his life.
Yeah.
And I genuinely believe that his record label and Scooter Braun they got a little boy. It was 13, I think, when he released that.
Did he start on YouTube and stuff?
Yeah, so basically, don't want to make the podcast about Bieber, but he basically did a video.
Again.
His mum put it online. Scooter Braun had seen it, went over and said, "Right, come over to America and do this thing with." Who was it? Usher or something like that.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Did a couple of tracks, and then they released Baby. And overnight, when he signed that contract, that was his soul.
Yeah.
His whole life just became about what his fans wanted him to be, and about what Scooter Braun and Usher wanted him to be. And now,
let me just interrupt. I've just got an Amazon at the door. I'll be right with you.
No worries.
That's not a euphemism.
It's all right. We'll stop there and we'll pick up in a sec. So you got your Amazon package. We're back
Amazon,
just post.
GPO, I don't know what it is. Yeah, that's good though. Isn't
it? Where we were then with Justin Bieber and stuff. So I think with things like that, and it's kind of the same again. Going back to reality TV stars,
you sell your soul, don't you?
Well, not just that, but like, so he's a kid and he's creative. Obviously, he's making his own YouTube videos. And
I love that film you took.
Yeah.
The first film, I don't know what it's called. What was the big film that he did?
I think it's called Believe or something like that.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
And I watched that and I thought it was amazing. What a great story.
He's so talented, like on the drums at the age of like 6.
But what he hasn't had, and what, again, like we're saying, a lot of these reality TV stars haven't had before they kind of, bam, you're famous. You know, I can imagine yourself, you've played in the arse end of nowhere before you made it big.
Grimsby.
You say before you played in Grimsby. But, you know, that's like with me and you, we were picked up young, but we've kind of grafted still.
Yeah,
and you know, but like, you know, and we you know, this is England, amazing, and it's done well, but you know, we didn't get dropped into the fucking Transformers franchise or something where we're instantly mega stars overnight. So do you reckon that's something that you need is for musician, or you know,
nowadays?
No, is that something that makes you a better musician to go, or you know, to have that experience of playing in a working man's club to maybe 3 people?
I think what you're saying is, like, my journey was, I was 25 when I joined the Inspirals.
Yeah.
I was 30 when I did Top of the Pops the first time. So I was quite...
5 years.
I was an old starter for a bloke in an indie band. But that meant before the band started, I'd been in shit jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
That I didn't want to go back to.
And that makes you want it more.
And but it makes you protect it more. So I never took it for granted. When the Inspirals were, you know, at the top of our game, I never took it for granted. You know, I always appreciated that there's a real world out there.
Exactly.
That I'd rather not go back to cutting sheet metal in a factory in Oldham, sort of thing. So I always appreciated what I had. I didn't, you know, treat people badly through my career with the Inspirals. And in terms of the success that I've had, because it's gradual, it means that like I still do a lot of DJing. I'll DJ to like thousands of people most weekends, and I'll be shouting at them on the mic, and we'll be dancing, you know. So I'm very much in that world of entertaining a mass of people. But when you start that journey as a little nipper, like Bieber or Michael Jackson did, you don't get that chance to be an adult in the real world.
No, you don't get to learn. You don't get to make your. And Amy Winehouse is, I think, a massive, a good.
Advocate.
Yeah. Well, so if you think so, she was 25 when she died. She was, every time she made a mistake that any 21, 22-year-old would make, all over the papers, everywhere, and the whole world was judging her for the mistakes that she made. Whereas if you can't make these mistakes and do the things that every 20-year-old should do, without the whole world judging you, do you know what I mean? Like you can't learn. You can't learn because you've got the pressure of the whole world on your shoulders, and I think it's wrong that.
And it's getting more so now as well, isn't it? It's getting harder and
social
harder.
Media, if someone's, I think one of the One Direction lads was having a spliff in Amsterdam or something like that, where it was completely legal, and the whole world blew up because of it, and it's like
crazy, isn't it?
19-year-old lad, if he wants to have a spliff, let him have a fucking spliff.
Imagine that back in your day, in the Manchester scene.
I'm just so grateful.
Imagine you lot if Snapchat was a thing.
Oh, it would have changed everything.
Yeah,
because we're almost invisible in some ways. When we were out of the country back then, you know, I'm talking early 90s, and we'd be touring the world. People in England just didn't know what you were up to unless they read it in the NME. Do you know what I mean? We were touring America before mobile phones, so if you wanted to phone home, phone your mum and dad, you'd have to wait till you'd either find a little phone box and have 50 25-cent pieces because you'd be pumping them in all the time, or you get to an hotel and make a reverse charge call to England and via the operator, collect call,
send it home in pigeon.
Well, that's how it was, and you'd write letters.
You
write letters. You know, you get a letter from a fan in Japan, and she'd written it a week before or whatever. Yeah. And you write back. So a week later she'd get a reply if she was lucky. And that's how it was then. So you were so off the radar. And you got, people, I'm just probably most bands touring the world back then were doing the same shit that we were doing. And before that in the 80s, the 70s and 60s. And if social media had been a thing then, fucking hell, we'd have been in trouble.
Honestly, it's amazing. Like we were speaking about this in the technology podcast, episode 1,
which go and listen to if you've not heard it.
I've heard it, it's good.
So there's now these things. Obviously, are you aware of Snapchat? You know what Snapchat is?
I know what it is, but don't use it.
So now there's glasses available. So glasses like what Andy's wearing now. Yeah. And you can press a button on the side of these glasses, and there's a camera in them. Yeah. So we can record this conversation now.
Or put it out live
through my glasses.
Yeah, well that's what I think it does. Yeah.
Oh my god, imagine that, like on tour with Ian Brown and you guys.
No.
It's
exactly, yeah,
absolutely bloody not.
And it's amazing how much the world has changed, and people love to see for celebrities fail, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. And like you say, they pick it up straight away.
It's sad, really, isn't it? Because it's
you can't enjoy yourself. You can't live your life.
People's careers end like that just because of one mistake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everyone makes mistakes. I don't give a fuck who you are.
I think that's going back again because a lot of these reality stars, especially in the past sort of 5 years or so, are all they're all handpicked now by producers because they're already very popular on Instagram and things like that, especially again Love Island. And then we were talking last night, weren't we? Because obviously me and Tommo do a bit of DJing. We've sort of come on, done bits with yourself and that, and we do that because we've found another creative outlet that we love, and it's nice, and it's an excuse to see each other. But we've been asked a few times to go and do what they call...
Why don't we just get married?
Yeah, exactly. We should, shouldn't we? Should divorce.
That's what we're getting at,
we're
not allowed to do it in churches yet, though. Yeah. So we're waiting for that.
Well, I wouldn't anyway. But, we've been asked a few times to do, like, PAs, where if listeners don't know, you basically turn up to a
Personal
club,
appearance.
you get paid... Sometimes obscene amounts of money for what you do. Well, all the time obscene amounts of money for what you do when you go into a club. And we've always been like, no. But a lot of these people, again, come out of Love Island stuff, and then that's how they earn their living for the rest of until they fade.
Gaz from Geordie Shore drives around in a fucking Ferrari.
I see.
And he's bought his wife a Range Rover Sport for Christmas.
Wow.
And his house is ridiculous. And it's like
all PAs and stuff like that.
He'd probably doing 3 or 4 PAs a night, earning 2-3 grand for a couple of hours, and he's earning 2 or 3 of them, so he's earning probably 6-7 grand a night.
Unbelievable.
Now people have been clever with that. Like he's got his money and he hasn't wasted it all and spunked it all at the wall. He's put it into a business.
He's got a clothing line.
He's got a clothing line now, and now he's not in Geordie Shore anymore. He doesn't do his PAs, but he's earning money other ways, and he's done the right thing.
It turned into something good, yeah.
It's turned into something good,
and it's was it The Only Way Is Essex when that first came on? I don't know if it's the same anymore, but I'm sure they only used to get they just got a day rate of 50 quid a day to film.
Wow.
But they're earning 5 grand a night from the PAs.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it's amazing how people will pay money to go to a club just to catch a glimpse of them. Like what you do and what we do. We'll go to a club and we'll DJ. So we're playing the tunes that we love and we're playing the tunes that everyone else loves, and we'll grab the bottle of vodka, we'll go in the crowd and we'll get pissed with everyone. Whereas I can't understand the people who will go to a nightclub. I was saying to Andy that I got mistakenly roped into one of them. I thought it was a DJ night in Hull. And it turned out, and I went into the DJ box, and the resident DJ was like, I don't know what you're on about, I'm DJing all night. And then the club owner, come up to me and said, oh no, you're just going to stand in front of that backdrop all night. And there's going to be a formal, people are going to form an orderly queue, single file, to have a photo with you. And I did the first couple, and I grabbed my bottle of vodka and bullshit, mate. I'm going out there with my bottle of vodka, and I'm off to fucking get pissed with everyone. I'm not letting people queue up for a photo. No, fuck that. Do you know what I mean?
It's just a bit, for me, it's a bit almost degrading. I enjoy going out and DJing. Like I say, I remember one of the first ones that me and you did, and someone tweeted me saying, loved watching you pretend to DJ tonight, mate. And I was like, no, I was.
Spirit sniper.
Yeah. No, but I think this guy had seen so many of these like PAs and stuff in his time, and because a lot of them do. I can't remember who said it to me now, but when I started doing the DJing, someone was like, another actor friend was like, oh, I've just got a CD, I go in, I put it on, and I just look like I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, no, like, this is a chance for me to learn a new craft, and I'm going to take that on with everything. And me and you did, we proper, we started, we couldn't do anything, but for me, it's so alien again to just turn up to a club and that, and it's...
I love the DJing because you're doing something, and there's something special about music that I when you was a kid, maybe a bit before your time, no offence, but when we was a kid, you'd get the speaker. You'd be sat around at a party, and the speaker would come to you, and you get to plug it into your phone, and you get to put one song on, and it's like, right, here's my time, I can put and you put a track on, and everyone's like, wow, what a tune! Like, ain't it that? When you do that in a DJ, or like when you do it at the house party tent at Kendall Calling, and you've got 2,000 people buzzing off your music, you're like, there's no better feeling than that.
It's a great feeling. I mean, it's probably... People said to me, do you not miss being out with the Inspirals? Because the Inspirals is completely not happening at the moment. Obviously, we lost our drummer Craig a couple of years ago. So, but people said, do you miss it? That buzz. And I don't miss it because I still get it from DJing, from being on the radio every day. Because, a lot of being in a pop group, when you're established and up there and successful, you're getting your ego stroked all the time.
Yeah, of course.
And that's probably part of why I wanted to do it in the first place as a kid, you know what I mean? But being on the radio 5-6 days a week gives me some of that buzz. DJing 4 or 5 times a week to a lot of people gives me a lot of that buzz.
Is that how often you're DJing, 4 or 5 times a week?
Some weeks I'll do 4 or 5 sets. So I've got a set tomorrow night. I've got 2 sets on Saturday night this week, 2 different gigs. Some weeks I've got 5-6 events, as well as being on the radio 6 days a week. Wow. And homeschooling kids and all this business and feeding all my animals. But, but I still get that.
Fit us in for a podcast.
Yeah, you know what? But it's like that. It's like I'm dead lucky that I wake up every day and I think about what I've got to do, and it's all dead positive stuff
that
I used to dream about doing.
Exactly.
I'm a musician. I'm working on music now for another project that I'll tell you about another time. But I'm writing songs and recording songs now. Man. Some of the best stuff I've ever done. Wow, and it's not Inspiral. It's something completely different. That's probably the most exciting thing I've ever worked on. And when it gets to the next stage, you'll be the first to know about that. But so I'm still making music. I'm DJing. I love records still. I love. I've got a big stack of vinyl behind me. I love.
There's something about vinyls. Yeah. I've got a mate who's 23 and he's buzzing off vinyls. Like, you know, they was
having a big revival at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah, it's massive, bigger than ever now. Yeah.
Was it Tesco started selling them again?
Yeah, a lot of supermarkets selling them.
A lot of places selling vinyl again now.
What do you think about that? Like supermarkets jumping on selling them and stuff? Because
it's all money in it. That's why they're doing it.
You know what? I'm one of these. I'm quite a positive person about. I always find positives in whatever it is.
Yeah.
So there is an argument that Tesco selling vinyl is going to hurt the little record shops, but I like it that some little kid will be like, "Mum, what's this?
Yeah.
What's this big fucking picture here?"
Yeah.
With something inside it, and you open it up and it's just this beautiful artwork, and it's just that it'll be a lot of kids' first introduction to vinyl will be in Morrison's or Tesco's.
Yeah, and then I reckon,
and they're selling like Ed Sheeran Divide.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're
not selling In Spirals, or they're not selling Ian Brown, or it's all the sort of mainstream music that's on the radio that they're just banging onto a vinyl. These supermarkets.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So then I guess they'll then go to the smaller.
Start digging deeper, don't you? Going looking further afield for it. That's what I hope is going to happen as a result of Tesco selling vinyl. And I do occasionally, I'll be walking through them, I think, fucking rumours, 14 quid, I'm having that. Even though I've already got it. But yeah, so it's, I love going to Piccadilly Records. That's my
it's great
record shop of choice. Partly I know the staff, I know Andy McQueen, who's worked in there for like 30 years, I know Laura. You know, these are people that are friends that I've made over the years, and they're just selling every record that I need to get hold of. And I go in a lot of junk shops as well, like second-hand shops. And
is that the one that we was...
it's the one where we did a shoot with Scott's.
Yeah, quality.
We popped in Piccadilly.
Right, okay.
Yeah, quality record shop.
You know what's worth mentioning when we talk about the reality TV, which is why we originally started, that school in Salford that's been on, is it called the Educating Greater Manchester?
Yeah, there's been a few series of that.
A couple of series of it, but it's ended up a bit weird now, hasn't it? Because I when I did see it, when it was happening a couple of years ago, I thought, it can't be right that putting cameras into a school is only going to unbalance everything. In that, the kids are aware of those cameras, even though it's like fly on the wall. The big fucking cameras are. So the kids are aware of it.
So they're going
to start acting different. The teachers are suddenly going to start coming out a little bit and do a little song and dance for the kids. Aren't I a great teacher? So I'm not saying that's but maybe it is wrong in a school environment.
I think so, yeah.
And it's proven that that's what's happened, hasn't it? Because it's all gone a bit tits up, I think. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get too involved in the details here, but it's been... I think the head teacher's been suspended because there's some discrepancy in the administration side of things. But it's like, how much did the TV involvement destabilise that school's
kids are so sensitive, aren't they? Which is why I think even with school, we did a podcast this morning, and when we'd stopped recording, we got chatting about education and how he said that he thought education was overrated in the terms that you can learn. I mean, I think in year 10 or year 11, they should be teaching you how to do like tax returns, and they should be teaching you important lifestyle things. Not, sometimes there's a lot of bullshit that they teach you in school that you don't necessarily need to know. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we homeschool. I mentioned it to you before that we've been homeschooling our boys now for 5 or 6 years. So bearing in mind they're 8, 11, 14. The 8-year-old's never been to school. He was born upstairs in our bedroom.
Oh, nice.
In water, independent midwife. And he's Cassius, on that he met with the long blonde hair. He's a sunshine on a pair of skinny legs. He's just, you know what I mean? He's like a sunshine child. He's untouched by the system. He's completely untouched by society. He's just, we are raising him the way that we think a child should be raised. The older two were in school and we took them out. And it's not us kicking against the system. It's just that we'd always liked the idea of homeschooling. And we'd never really had the opportunity for one reason or another. It never really, the ley lines weren't right. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, a couple of things happened that made us say, right, now's the time to homeschool. We lost a baby, which was quite public at the time. And she was born a month early. She was born 3 months early. She lived for 1 month. And once we got over the immediate trauma of that, which was like a year and a half, maybe 2 years later, when we came out of that combined with the fact that my job was steady again, and we earn enough money where my wife doesn't need to work, and we're just in a position where we just thought, let's try this homeschooling thing. When you've lost a child, you just want to be with your children.
I was just going to
every
say
minute,
that,
every fucking minute, you know. So that was the main reason to me why we decided now is the time to try homeschooling. And we're fortunate that the UK is quite liberally minded about homeschooling at the moment.
That's really good because there is, you know, there's a lot of stuff always in the press isn't it, about taking kids out on holiday.
Yeah.
And stuff, so it's nice to know that.
It was easy once we decided we wanted to do it. We got good support from the school that the kids were at, and from Stockport Council. There's a good support group around here. You know, there's one guy who's based at Stockport Council who is there to facilitate the home ed community with whatever information they might need. So we've been dead lucky, and we've enjoyed the journey up to now of, like I said, 5 or 6 years of homeschooling.
And the
it's
kids
a
are all
great journey.
happy as well, and that's the main thing. And like you said, it's given them a chance to be creative. Like you said, that you know, they're all on the bass and beatboxing and the dancing.
Yeah.
I think school can sometimes get in the way. If you're creative, especially if you've got something so young. I mean, I was 13 when I first started doing what I do, and not that it got in the way, but it did sort of become an issue that if I wanted to be, I won an award in New York, like we were saying, and I wasn't allowed to go to meet De Niro for him to hand me this award because I had a little exam, and it's like, I mean, I'd have got more from being in New York, meeting people like that, and
100%.
And also,
sitting in a
the
hall.
school, if the news story had been they're letting this kid go to New York, it would give the school a lot more credibility. They'd have benefited from it. You can do your exam a bit later. I'm going to have to take your picture there. You can use this in your podcast, but you sat there in front of Tony Wilson. It's a great picture.
He's so nice.
Get Andy here
in front of the
lizards. So you can use them. I'll send them both to you. But they're
I
brilliant.
didn't even clock there. I've got Tony on the wall.
Yeah, big Tony there. He's the omnipresent Tony Wilson. He's
nice,
big,
man. That's beautiful.
Big part of this story.
But yeah, I mean, again, going on that, like, you know, I'm a big thing. Like, my little girl's just started nursery now, and we've been saying for years now, like, oh, can't wait to take her to like Disney World and that, 'cause we love it, or stuff like that.
Important traveling.
And the school, she goes to like this nice little nursery in Trafford, and they're like, look, there's a waiting list, so if your kids aren't in, then, you know, it's one of them. Like, we're not, you know, they'll offer up spaces and stuff, so it's quite threatening. It's like, oh well, I want to take my kid to Disney World, man. She's 4. I want to like see Elsa and Anna and a little face light up, and I want to take her travelling.
Yeah,
I do. I think travel broadens the mind, and especially at a young age, like, I want her to see the world and
different
to
cultures.
do that for in a 6-week period in the summer where prices skyrocket. It's just so hard, and unachievable for a lot of people, and it's a shame. Like. Well, what you're doing, mate, is amazing. Like, you know,
for me, it started with because I was brought up very working class family. We had a corner shop. I was born in 1959. Went to grammar school.
When you was born?
Yeah, so I'll be 60 next year. So from 1970 to 75, I was in an all boys grammar school because I did really well in my 11 plus sort of thing. And it wasn't the right environment for me. It was all boys. It was 50% of the teachers were these religious brothers, the De La Salle brothers. Who were like monks pretty much, but there was this. It was very fashionable then to just fucking whip kids for, you know, if you laughed in class, if you burped in class, if you got caught with chewing, you'd be getting fucking whipped physically across the hand or across the arse. So it was like for 5 years, and of course me being the extrovert, bloody potential entertainer, just wanting to make people laugh all the time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think we're pretty much all in that same.
So I was getting punished.
There.
I probably got punished to say I wasn't a bad kid. I wasn't a violent kid. I wasn't a nasty kid. I was polite. I was getting whipped a few times a week, you know, across the arse for making me mates.
For expressing me
outgoing side.
Well, that's
and it's like so that 5 years, I didn't do that well in my exams either. I didn't realise how much I didn't like school until I left. I went to art college, which was completely the opposite end of the spectrum. Rochdale Art College, and that was 1975, and it was just this. Suddenly, these adults that were teaching us were encouraging me to do the things that I used to get punished for. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be like, you want to do music? Do some music. This is a thing, a brand new instrument, and it's called a synthesizer. Nobody knew what one was, and we had one at college, and I'd be playing on that.
Nice.
1975 that was.
Yeah.
And then, you know, here's a big fucking stupid camera. This is called video technology. And we went out into Rochdale making films with this massive camera with a big umbilical and a belt full of batteries. Do you know what I mean? And it was video technology in its infancy. And I was being trusted to just go and dick about in Rochdale making these mad films.
That's so important, man, because like you say, you know, you've not done this for your kids because you're fighting against the system. But we were talking earlier off mic, like, I think the system is broken. That the school system as it is about 150 or something years old now. It's a Victorian idea of children sit, listen, learn from books, and listen and learn and listen, and the bell rings and it's change class, and the bell rings and it's lunch, and it's conditioning to be working in factories, which is fine for 100 years ago when the main. And I'm sure, like, your mum and dad's era and stuff, and even like our mum and dad's era a bit, that was what you did. You left school, you worked in a factory. It doesn't cater for it never catered for people like ourselves who are extroverts and we want to create. Yeah. But nowadays, it's not school for robots. What factory now has got people in it?
Yeah, and at what point is somebody going to turn around and question it, or at what point will society change it? Because big changes do happen in this day and age. You can't smoke in a venue anymore. Who'd have dreamt of that 20 years ago?
Exactly.
So what I'm saying is the education system as it stands, and I'm not anti it, I'm just fortunate that we've been able to step out of it. But it might not be the right way of doing it.
No,
and 100 years from now, we might look back on this year and say, can you believe that this is how they used to educate kids in a class of 30 or 40 or whatever? The big key to my story was, while I was at art college, that's when punk happened. So December 76, Sex Pistols played the Electric Circus in Manchester, and I was bang on the punk right when it happened. I was 17.
Right place, right time.
And it was like, fucking hell, this is where my journey starts. Yeah. And that moment, and I always say this, I say it on a weekly basis to people, that the repercussions of that, the shockwaves, if you like, of that moment is this, it's me sat here now doing this because I followed my dream after art college.
With two other lads who've done the same thing.
Absolutely, and I'm privileged that you're here with me, kindred spirits. My kids are out there, where millions of other kids are in school, they're out there doing their thing, whether it's golf, photography, bass guitar, drawing pictures, raising animals.
I was just going to say, feeding all the pets.
It's like that's Cassius. He's the one that wants all the pets. He's the one. He's the one that wants all these rabbits and guinea pigs and all this. So that's part of his thing. It's what he does, And then Hector, who you met with the beautiful blonde hair.
I was going to comment on that.
He's a brilliant photographer. He's into his photography and golf as well as studying.
And they wouldn't get that in school. They'd be sat doing English and which obviously English and maths and stuff is important, and I'm sure you look after that. But
we do,
you pick up a camera, mate. You do that, and
it's us as parents and as human beings doing what you would have done 2,000 years ago. You'd have them kids under your wing all day. You'd be looking after them, and I'm going to go out in a bit and earn some money. In the meantime, my wife's going to be with them and nurture them more, and then I'll come back with the money, and we'll have some great times over the weekend. And so it's quite a primal thing, really. It's like, why should I just fire them off into the system for 6 or 7 hours a day?
You need to find what your kids are good at. I know we're running out of time, but you need to find what your kids are good at, and when you find what they're good at, just let them just do it as much as they possibly want to do it. Like, 100%. Imagine if Lionel Messi, if his parents turned around and said, "Oh no, you're not have to play. You're not going to have to play football because you've got to go to school.
Get a proper job.
Get a proper job."
I've heard that a few times.
My dad used to say that to me. My dad used to say.
I say it to my little brother who's 4. Yeah. He's like, he'll watch his films, and I go, "Do you know when you watch your films? Like, do you understand what I do as a job?" He just goes, "Why don't you get a proper job?" But you need to find something you're good at from a young age, and your parents should be there to encourage it, not necessarily at school learning things that you don't need to be learning.
My dad used to say that. When are you going to get a proper job? And they never stopped me doing what I wanted to do. I'll give them that. My mum's still around; she's doing great. But they always, when I got into music, they didn't try and stop me doing it. And
that's amazing.
That's why we didn't, because we won't be sat here with you. Talking.
The thing is that they never saw me do when we were doing the pubs in Oldham and then small clubs in Manchester. They never came to any gigs. The first gig they saw us do was in 1990. We played GMX, which is now Manchester Central, 11,000 people. And we were the headline band, and it was the same year we did Top of the Pops around that time.
That's the first time.
Mum and Dad sat in the stand, and I could see them from the stage. And it's like 11,000 people singing songs that I'd written in my bedroom in their house.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean? In Oldham.
Nice.
And you could see it in their faces, and it's one of my proudest moments, I think.
Amazing, man. Well, that's a brilliant way to end the podcast. Because you've got
nearly started crying then.
Mate, Clint, thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure. We can do it again whenever you want.
Amazing, thank you.
Yeah, nice one, mate.
Brilliant.
that was Clint Boon with his overrated subject, which was reality TV, as Thomas said. Thomas, look at that, Thomas.
I start calling him Andrew.
I know, yeah. As Tommo said, something that he agrees with, and I agree with to a massive extent. I'm, guilty of partaking in the watching of it a little bit at times, but aren't we all? But yeah, no. Again, that was probably for me one of the nicest interviews that we've. Tommo's just taking a picture right now. Oh, there we go. Probably one of the nicest interviews that we've done with such a guy who's. You have reservations about people, not reservations about people, but they always say to you, don't meet your heroes, and when you meet someone who you've grown up listening to. And I've met him a few times. We've met him a couple of times, we pre the podcast. But we've never actually sat down properly and had a chat with him. Normally, when we meet him, we're in a loud place. I've texted him a few times and stuff. So
we've got Clint's Boon number, haven't we?
We're cool like that. No, but and he is just a nice guy, and it's just a testament to himself. It was just really lovely. And also, halfway through that, we should have said this at the beginning. Halfway through that chat, we cut unexpectedly.
Yeah. Did we stop running?
I stopped recording. Yeah, I thought it would have been a while. I should have kept it going.
Yeah,
really.
You should.
You didn't miss
basically,
much.
He said, "Oh, Mike's at the door," didn't he? He said, "Mike." He went, "Oh, Mike's at the
the
door."
Amazon.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, Mike's at the door."
Oh, did
Mike, and he went, "Oh, it's an Amazon package."
Ah, right.
So
okay.
I mean, he's the kind of guy that knows his Amazon guy by first name terms, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, and then he went, "No, it was me postman," and then said his name, didn't he? Which is cool.
See, I hate my postman because he only ever brings me bills.
Does he?
So all he ever brings me.
My missus goes mad at me because I order Amazon packages all the time.
Oh really? Even shit you don't need.
Just Prime, man. Amazon Prime
You know what,
is
my
dangerous.
brother Matty, he went through a phase of so I sat at home one day, me and Charles had our afternoon off. We get a knock at the door and someone had dropped off a package, and Charles like, "Have you ordered it off Amazon?" And I don't even know how to do that, so I'm like, "No, but I don't know what that is." She opens it and it's like a swimming cap, and I'm like, so we didn't know what it was. Next couple of days, what came, like some egg poachers came, and we're like, "What the?" She's like, I'm like, "Baby, are you doing this to sort of mess with my egg?" Next thing we had like toothpicks. What? And I'm putting in group chats like, "Lads, are any of you sending stuff to my house?" Because I don't know what's going on. And I even rang my brother Matty, and I was saying, "Are you seriously not sending things to my house? Because it's starting to freak Charlotte out now." And it turns out in the end it was him, but he had it going for ages, sending the most random shit.
Just random shit, that's brilliant.
Oh, no, it's not, because I'm like, I think it was when Swimming with Men had just come out. If you haven't seen Swimming with Men, go and watch it, because it's sick.
And you're in it.
And I'm in it, of course.
With Rob Brydon.
With Rob Brydon.
Daniel Mays.
And Daniel Mays.
Lots of really cool people.
Yeah, which is, it's pretty cool. But yeah, so as that had came out, I think a couple of days later, I got a swimming cap in the post, and I was like, someone's fucking with me. But yeah, no, it's... and I still don't know my Amazon package, man. He don't know
his name. Not like Clint.
Not like Clint.
But yeah, so sorry about that, guys. We should have pre-warned you about that. The interview did cut off there. You're not hearing things. Your phone or your laptop or whatever you listen to isn't broken. It was just me pressing stop because Clint went.
But when you're Clint Boon, you can
do what you want.
You can pretty much to a certain extent do as you want.
Yeah, of course. But no, again, another one down. This is episode 7 now. 7 weeks of the podcast, and I'm still fucking loving it, man.
Yeah, man. And we've literally just in between these just received a text from a guest who we really want on.
He's
been filming out in South Africa for a long time.
Yeah, he's a friend of ours as well.
A friend of ours, and he's text saying that he'd love to come on. He's busy now until the new year, so that'll be next year. But also, man, I mean, some of them guests that we've got, like, Twitter is amazing.
Twitter is amazing. Like, honestly, like one of the best things for me, T, is like, we do what we do, and you kind of forget that other people that you like Clint.
Yeah.
You forget that people that you like watch telly and maybe have seen the film and the TV things that you were in.
Well, we've just on Twitter just a minute ago. I retweeted something just now.
Yeah.
And Jonah Hill, who you'll know from Superbad.
You won't know. You won't know Jonah Hill.
You know Jonah Hill from Wolf of Wall Street. He's tweeted a video about Shane Meadows' work and said about the young kid in This Is England, and it's just like, that is mind blowing. So if you are listening, Jonah, come on the podcast, mate. It makes sense.
We would love you on the podcast, Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
But you forget that these people watch stuff. So like when we've reached out to people on Twitter, and asked them if they'd like to come on the show, we've had such a nice, overwhelming response of we're big fans, we love it, and that's not blowing our trumpet there, and I don't want that to sound like we are, but to hear that off people that you like, and a lot of these people are going to be coming on, and we know that they're going to be people that you, the listener, are going to want to hear, because
like the one who the comedian, like from we can't say who.
Go on.
The one who we're going to go down and do soon, the comedian.
Oh, yeah.
So that is like, for me, I am going to be there doing that, like, losing my shit.
Yeah, 100%.
Losing my shit.
100%.
Grew up with him, and it's like, not grew up with him, but watching his stuff, quoting it pretty much every day of my life for like 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's going to be sick.
It's going to be great. And and you guys are going to love it. And again, thank you for coming on this journey with us. Thank you for following us. Thank you for, last week we said, tell someone in your office or your workplace about us. This week you've got a new mission. Who should they tell? You do one. Who should they tell this week?
I think you should tell every single Greggs worker in your local vicinity. Go into Greggs and say, do you listen to podcasts? And if they say no, slap them with a baguette and say, listen to Overrated everything. Otherwise, I'm going to start going to Couplands.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want that.
You do not want that. Or Pound Bakery.
I'd never heard of that.
You never heard of Pound Bakery?
No.
Yeah, it's like another Greggs thing.
A Pound Bakery?
Pound Bakery.
Is everything a pound?
Yeah.
I don't like the
sound. It's not as nice as Greggs. This podcast is not sponsored by Greggs.
No, yeah. You pissed me off for that. Pound Bakery?
Pound Bakery, yeah, it's not great. But no, honestly, do that. Go into Greggs. Go into Greggs or...
and if you video it, send it. We will do something very special for you.
We will. I don't know what that is, but Tommo's looked at me really strangely as he says that, so please do it, because I want to find out.
Looked at you with my good eye.
Continue to support us, guys. Ooh, whistling there, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
Hey, Chris! Continue to support us, because literally me and Tommo now, right, we've had a mad day.
Yeah, man, what we've been doing now, we've been on it for
12 hours.
13 hours. Talking to each other.
And... honestly, there was a bit of today where we've had a big lull, but
dig deep.
I can't wait to do the next one already.
Brush your shoulders off and you go again.
It's almost like that time Tommo played someone in World War One. Like, do you know what I mean? That's what you're doing, aren't you, Tommo? You're digging deep, like
digging deep, mate. Yeah.
No, but honestly, guys, seriously, again, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. The numbers are speaking for themselves, man. People are enjoying this, and we're glad you are, because.
You've got to keep listening now. We've spent loads of money on equipment and that.
Yeah, please keep listening.
Yeah. I mean, my wife-to-be is fuming.
Yeah.
What, you're going to Manchester again?
Yeah.
It's 50 quid every time you go there in fuel, you know that?
I had to not feed my child this week just to bring you this podcast, so it's worth you, sharing. And I didn't, that was a lie, that was a complete lie. But thank you, guys. Episode number 8 is coming next week. Love you, T.
Yeah, you too, bro.
Long may it rain. Right, and we love you guys. Thank you.
Peace.
Sorry, you want to do this, don't you? Tommo likes pressing the buttons. I'm going to
I like to feel important.
Right, go on then. Not that